Welcome back to Rotating Door Pandemonium, and here we got another female trainer to fight. And speaking of female, I don't know why I'm thinking of this. This is part of the news that I haven't covered yet. As I said before, I'm way back on the news, but I'm getting there. I am slowly getting there. Anyway, this trainer reminded me that we're going to have a female professor in black and white, Professor Araragi. Thank you. Come on, this isn't the character name. It's freaking Bad Romance. But anyway, it's not such a big deal to me, but to some people it apparently is, because you know how in previous LPs I talked about certain characters being Rule 34'd extremely quickly, like for example Splash Woman and Shade from Sonic Chronicles? Well, apparently Professor Bad Romance here, nope, not this way, yeah, this way. So, yeah, I got to do those puzzles as I commentate, and it's not really easy. Anyway, she was Rule 34'd apparently just as fast as those two, which is not a surprise at all, but I'm wondering, what kind of life do those people have? Don't they have anything better to do with their time but to draw porn of characters that were revealed on the same day? Seriously, come the fuck on. If I did that, I would most definitely not brag about it. Thank you very much. Everything's spinning around and around. I can't take this anymore. So I assume the windmill from Ocarina of Time wouldn't be his kind of place, since the guy who lives there is obsessed with making things go around and around and around. And okay, here we got the scroll. So now all I gotta do is, well, a convenient shortcut there, head back to the door, which I found near the end of the last video. And no, not this way. This way. Okay, yeah, I got it now. So what's the code this time? Trickmaster is my life. Just after I talked about people having no life. Super! So he's going to tell me the same thing as usual, almost my equal in greatness. We're almost there, folks! And as for this magnet, it's going straight onto Gardevoir, since I took its Quick Claw to the Prophet of Regice a few videos ago. And so now the only thing left to do before moving on is going to be accepting rematch requests from trainers in the match call. So I'm going to level up Regice, and I will be right back. And it's done, and the end result is very nice. My Regice is now up to level 47 after all these rematches, including 2 rematches with the people whose phone numbers I got on Mount Chimney. If you remember, I made a huge fuss about not getting any hot chicks numbers, but I had rematches with both the fat guy and the old guy, so at least I got experience from them, which is more than can be said for any of the hot chicks there. And speaking of not scoring, I saw something on the internet today. I think this was on Twitter, but anyway, it basically goes like this. Twilight is like soccer. They run around for 2 hours, nobody ever scores, and its billion fans always claim that you just don't understand. Hey, it's funny because it's true. And I was talking about triple battles near the end of the last video, and there's a lot more to it than it seems, because for those of you who don't really follow the news, during the week of the Mario Marathon where I did no videos whatsoever, Pokébeach reported that an inside source claimed to have some insider info on Black and White, and one of the items mentioned was that there would be triple battles, and there was also a lot of other stuff that had nothing to do with triple battles. But the fact that triple battles are included suddenly means that this inside source may have more credible information than I previously gave it credit for. Because I imagine that if it was really a credible source, because usually Sarah V doesn't report rumors unless they're from a credible source. And if it wasn't credible enough for Sarah V, then I wondered if maybe this was just fake, someone trying to get attention. But I don't know if you guys have seen or not the other topics that the guy mentioned, but if you didn't, then I'm going to give you a quick rundown. Apparently, Tauros is going to evolve into Minotauros. All I'm saying here, that's just at the stage of rumor for now. Don't go around pretending it's true. Minotauros is not real, for the time being at least. And if it is real, then that just means that the source was credible after all. After all, he did call triple battles correctly at the very least. And another topic that was covered was the number of Pokemon. There would be apparently 157 new Pokemon for a total of 650. And I have a bit of trouble believing that because the original generation had 151 Pokemon. And of course, it's the generation that introduced the most of them, since it's the original. The others merely expanded the roster further. So I seriously doubt that we're going to see even more new Pokemon than in first generation. Not saying it's completely impossible, but I'm having a bit of trouble believing that. And one of those Pokemon would supposedly be, you know, the third counterpart to Reshiram and Zekrom, which apparently is a green cobra thing. I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that one. And something else that's really interesting is that he said that we would be able to use items in order to change, you know, the status of the field. For example, there was an example that was given, yeah. There would be an item that would allow you to set up like a poison field, where poison moves would be stronger, toxic spikes would be better, and there would be around 20 of these items, which would have different effects depending on, well, each item. And there was also the possibility of having, you know, the plot wouldn't be as cut and dry as in previous generations, that you had decisions to make, and that those decisions would affect the story. Like, for example, being a goody two-shoes might give you certain advantages, whereas acting all jerkish and villainous would give you another universe of possibilities, so to speak. Hey, where did she go? Come on, come back! Oh wow, she's really doing the marathon here. Which reminds me, I was talking about those rumored field-changing items, and there was something that might, well, I don't know if it's a hint to those items or something like that, but when you fight a human player in Black and White, there's an option that replaces the bag that's called Shooter. Now, nobody knows exactly what it is. Some people believe it has to do with the DSi's cameras or something like that, because remember, even though the games were perfectly fine on DS and DS Lite, there are some enhancements for the DSi. So yeah, it could be either something like that, or the replacement of the Versus recorder, or it could also be that Shooter refers to those aforementioned field-changing items. So it really could be anything. No one has any clue what those are. I guess we're gonna find out in due time. Whoa! She's gotta love this thing. I don't know why. It just cracks me up whenever I see someone using a love disc. I mean, who would think it's a good idea? It's pathetic even by Pokemon NPC standards. I mean, usually they're incompetent, but enough to use a love disc? Wow, and yes, I know Juan has a love disc on his team as well, and he's the final gym leader, but yeah, there you get the idea. So anyway, that's about it for the whole rumor department. We know some cold, hard facts as well. Loads of Pokemon have been revealed since I last ventured into this subject, but as I said, we're going to get there in due time. I apologize for the massive delay in covering them, but don't worry, as I said, I have lots of things to say, and this is among them, and I'm not going back to Donkey Kong until all this is covered. So thank you for your patience, and I'm going to take a break now.